Now, back to more of Behind the Scenes at the Hanover Theater. And your host, Lisa Condon.
Thank you all for listening today. I am more than excited to bring you the Rob Reiner, who is coming to the Hanover Theater and Conservatory for the Performing Arts with Rob Reiner live, plus a screening of This is Spinal Tap, and that is happening Thursday, April 16th. Showtime starts at 7:30. Welcome to our program.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it is a total joy, and our market is so excited about Rob Reiner Live plus a screening of This is Spinal Tap because, of course, This is Spinal Tap is one of the biggest films. I believe the New York Times placed the film on their list of best movies ever made. What an achievement.
Well, that's very nice of the New York Times to say that, and it's taken a while, but I mean, over the years, it's kind of grown, and become this, kind of I guess it's gone even beyond a cult film in a way. But when we first released it, nobody even knew what the heck we were doing. I mean, we had a screening, I remember, in Dallas, and people came up to me and they said, "Well, why would you make a movie about a band that nobody's ever heard of, and one that's so bad? Why don't you make a movie about the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or something?" So yeah, no, I mean, it's people have attached themselves to it, and there's one great story. I mean, you hear all the time, "This goes to 11," which is the scene that Chris Guest and I have, where the amps go up to 11. And Elon Musk, when he first came out with the Tesla, he showed me this car. I didn't know what it was. He says, "Here, sit in the car. I want to show you something." And I sat down, and he turned the radio up, and it went up to 11. And so he said, "I love that movie so much, I put it in all the Teslas." So that gave me a tremendous kick.
Well, and how many people can say that their brainchild was recognized and honored in the Tesla of all things?
Yes, no, it's really great. I mean, listen, there's a lot of great lines that are quoted, and my favorite of all is there's a fine line between stupid and clever.
Yeah.
And I think that we try to hit that fine line in the film.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about, so how did you get the idea? So when everybody was saying to you, "Oh, why did you do this movie?" What was your response to them?
Well, what happened was, I'd worked with with Michael and with Chris and with Harry. We did a TV show. It was a satire. It was called the TV show, and we did various takeoffs of everything that was on television, commercials and sitcoms and all kinds of things. And one of the things we did was a takeoff of an old rock and roll show, late night thing called Midnight Special. And that was the first time we introduced Spinal Tap. I played this DJ, Wolfman Jack, and I introduced him as England's loudest band. And we did this sketch about him and a number called Rock and Roll Nightmare. And when they were improvising, while we were setting up, the guys started improvising in these British characters. And I always thought, geez, it would be great to do something more than just this one little musical piece. Then Harry Shearer and I had this idea for a movie about the world of rock and roll and the backstage. It was called Roadies, and it was a band on tour and what went on backstage. And then a movie came out called Roadie that starred Meatloaf, and we said, okay, forget that. We're not going to do that. And then Chris and Michael had done a little short video about these two rock and rollers, these two Brits who meet in a hotel and vaguely remember that they had been in a band together. And then, they're kind of drugged out and they couldn't remember. And so that we kind of gravitated back towards each other and said, let's see if we can, do something with these characters. And we came up with this idea of this fake documentary.
It's amazing. And, you've had such an interesting career as well. And so you talked a little bit about how one thing inspired something else in this movie. I grew up watching you in All in the Family, and it amazes me that the breadth and the variety of what you've worked on. So we've got All in the Family. Of course, we've got This is Spinal Tap, but then other big movies. I mean, Stand By Me, A Few Good Men, Misery, Princess Bride, Harry Met Sally. Those are all, in my life, iconic movies, and they feel so different to me. Right? So how did you bring what you were exposed to and learning into these other projects?
Well, it's funny, but I do have a lot of different tastes, and my mind goes to a lot of different things, and somebody would say that I'm confused. But I like a lot of different things. Yeah, no, and I like a lot of different things. I mean, most of the time I have to try to find my way into the project. In other words, what about this thing is triggering either my emotions, my thoughts, or something I've lived through. I mean, with Spinal Tap and Princess Bride, those are the two that are kind of satirical. And, I was raised, my father was in Show of Shows and Caesar's Hour, which was satire. It was before Saturday Night Live, but they did satire of all different types of things. And so that was, where my mind was at a certain point. But then at a point I got to where, well, what are the things that personally affect me? And, Stand By Me was something that was very personal to me, even though it was based on a Stephen King novella. And When Harry Met Sally was basically my life as a single person after I'd been married for 10 years, and I kind of drew on that to make that work. And I try to find my way into a project, and where's my connection with Few Good Men? It was about a guy who had never been in a courtroom, but was always intimidated by a very successful father who was a lawyer, and I had those feelings. And so I usually try to find my way in by something that I experience in my life. My dad has always said, and he's great, he's still doing great. He's going to be 98 next month. Yeah, no, it's amazing. He always says, write about or, work on things where only you stand. In other words, go from a place of that means something personal and emotional to you. Even Misery, which seems like a very kind of odd film for me to be doing, it resonated with me because I had been successful with All in the Family, and everybody wanted me to continue doing that character and never, do anything else. And I said, no, I want to direct. I want to do other kinds of things. And so to me, that was what that was about. It was about being held captive by, by your own popularity and not being able to express yourself the way you want. And the guy was held prisoner by this, number one fan. So I understood what that feeling was, and so that's why I gravitated towards that film.
Those are such great words of wisdom and advice, and I say that because you may have noticed I also said the Hanover Theater and Conservatory for the Performing Arts. So we have a conservatory with students, and I think that is probably a great piece of wisdom for them to bring with them. Any other words of advice or nuggets that you would share with people starting out?
Well, the thing to me that's really fortunate for young people today, if they want to be filmmakers, if they want to make films, is that they have within their, you just look into your pocket, you'll find your iPhone or your smartphone there, and you can use that to record things and make things. And you have your computer, you can edit things on that, and you can add music. So you have your tools already there to make films. I mean, when I was young, you couldn't do that. You had to, you needed money to get a camera, get film, all those things. But you can make films, if you're drawn to it with just what you have in your home, Oh,
absolutely.
So, to me, it's like if you have an idea, whether it's a short film or something more, you just write it down, or write the little screenplay and go out and do it. You can actually do it. And now, with Quibi, they're putting things on 5 to 10 minutes, and you always got access on YouTube and all kinds of places where you can get known and get seen. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yes, just do it, right?
Yeah.
Well,
just like Nike.
Exactly. Although a little bit nicer.
You'll either be you'll be a great athlete, or you'll make a film, one way or the other.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. I know you're a very busy person, so again, I've been talking with Rob Reiner, who's coming to perform at the Hanover Theater and Conservatory for the Performing Arts. Well, perform might be strong, but he is coming to have a conversation. Tap dancing, perhaps.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. We'll talk about Spinal Tap, and they can ask me any other questions. It can be sex, religion, religion, politics, whatever they want.
Well, and you heard it here. So your chance is going to be Thursday, April 16th, when we have Rob Reiner live, plus a screening of This is Spinal Tap, again at the Hanover Theater and Conservatory for the Performing Arts. That's Thursday, April 16th, 7:30. Our website is The Hanover Theater, spelled with an RE.org, and tickets start at just $49, which is great, and there are some limited VIP pre-show meet and greet opportunities available. Anything else you want to add?
No, but thank you for touting this, because I look forward to being there and seeing everybody.
Well, we can't wait to see you. So, you have a great day. Everybody else, stay tuned. We'll be back after this quick break here on Behind the Scenes with the Hanover Theater on WCRN AM 830.